In this video, I'm breaking down how I made $20,000 in just 7 trading days so far in 2026. I'm going to share the tweaks that I've made to my trading so far since the new year that have made all the difference. And towards the end of the video, I'm going to share that one thing that has truly led to the consistency that I've had so far this year. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so first of all, I have to mention I had a really strong foundation going into the new year because November and December I was trading well. And then just before the Christmas holidays, I managed to get a payout around about December the 8th from Top One Futures. So that was really nice. And it just gave me some real momentum going into the new year. So I think that was an important, stepping stone with the amazing results that I've had so far this year. And if we look in 2026 so far, we're only 2 weeks in at the moment. So, there's a long way to go in the year yet, but the results are very promising so far. As I mentioned at the start of this video, 20,000 in profits, which is great. A day win percentage of 85%. That's going to level out as the year goes on. According to my back testing, my day win percentage is going to be 70 to 75%. So I expect that to lower over time, but it just shows the great start that I've had. Great profit factor as well. Also expect that to get lower as the year goes on. And also as well, the day streak as well, 3 days. But according to my back testing results, I'm expecting a bigger win streak than this in the weeks and months to come. So hopefully long may these results continue. If we go down to the calendar, this is the 7 trading days that I've been talking about. There were a few days that I couldn't be at the desk, so couldn't trade. But other than that, it's been 7 trading days so far. 9K on the first week of trading and then 11K on the week that has just passed. So really, really pleasing start to the year. Now let's dive into the trades that I took and the little tweaks that I mentioned at the start that have just been really, really important. If we check out Monday's one, now Monday's one, I think if we look at Monday's was indeed the biggest trading result of the year so far in regards to P&L. And if we look here at this first trade, first of all, I have to mention I've made the swap in 2026 to NQ or MNQ, the micro NQ. I was trading the ES before. I decided to swap to NQ for 2026, but I didn't just do it just like that. I spent a lot of time during December back testing, researching the index in depth. So I've not just jumped straight into it, and I've done a lot of back testing. So it's been really, really important to do that before just randomly trading a new asset. But with this trade here, you can see here on this one here, this was a mistake entry because one of the changes I've made is instead of taking market orders, I've started placing limit orders, stop orders as part of my trading. Reason being is I found the limit and the stop orders to just relax me when I'm about to enter. And it just makes me very, very calm going into the trade. I pick the level that I want to enter and it just calms the nerves. And I've noticed it in 2026 so far. So I'm definitely going to be continuing it versus using market orders. But if we look here at the first trade, this one, like I said, I think I placed a limit order instead of a stop order because I'm still getting used to stop orders, limit orders, and I made this mistake. It was an honest mistake to make. I actually made money off the mistake. I closed it quickly, but that was my first trade of 2026. So wasn't the greatest start, but I was let off there. But eventually I did get my entry here. Now, I must mention these gray lines here are the initial balance because I've started trading the initial balance more in 2026. The reason being is that when I looked at my data from 2025, I was losing more trades in that first hour of the New York session. So I've swapped to the initial balance just to allow me to have a later entry in the New York session, capturing those wins at that time that I was capturing most wins on in 2025. Now, we can see here, we made the initial balance low first. When we make the initial balance low first, we are more likely to break the initial balance high first. Now, this here was nearly a no trading day for me because my rule, my no trading day is when price breaks and closes outside the initial balance. Once the initial balance is set at 10:30, that's when I am done for the day. because the initial balance has been broken, and that's my edge. I'm trading towards the initial balance being broken. So with this here, it didn't quite close outside the initial balance. So my edge was still in play here. And if we look here at our entry, we entered on the 25% retracement of the initial balance. That's what this green line is going across here. I could have waited for the 50% retracement, but I was keen to enter because it was already 10:30. The initial balance has formed. We are very strong on buyers in this trade. So I was looking to get in here just as well because we never got this retracement, and then entered with a limit order from here. And I trailed the stop once we were in about $150, $200 in profit. Trailed the stop by about 10 points, eventually being taken out on this candle here, meaning it was a really nice start to the year trading. So that was really good. So some of the big changes so far, some of the tweaks I've talked about: one, trading the initial balance, and two, using limit orders, stop orders, just allowing me to have a calmer entry into the markets. Okay. Now, if we look at the next trade, so that was Monday, that was the first trade, okay? Now, if we look at Tuesday's trade, the second trade of the year, once again, really decent day of trading as well. You can see here, once again, what have we got? We've got the initial balance low and we've got the initial balance high. The initial balance forms from 9:30 till 10:30 New York session. We've got the initial balance low forming first. So what do you remember from the last trade? We're more likely to break the initial balance high, which is this gray line, first. That's what we're anticipating is going to be broken first. Now, with this trade here, I front run this, okay? I front run the initial balance here because buyers were in such control, and with this, the initial balance has not officially formed yet. That's what I mean by front running. The initial balance has not fully formed yet. It doesn't form until 10:30. But because there's so many buyers in control since the New York Open, I'm thinking I want to be capturing any sort of momentum to the upside here. So I enter here on the 25% retracement. It looks a little bit lower than the 25% retracement because the initial balance high was not here at the time of entry. It was actually here, which means that we entered on the 25% retracement. And then we got literally, look at that. We had barely any drawdown in that trade. It went in my favor. Once we got to $200 in profit, trailed the stop, trailing it by about 10 points or so from price, and eventually being stopped out on this candle here. So we got in and out of this trade before the initial balance was even formed. Now, I don't do this all the time, front running the initial balance, but it's something I'll do or something I'll think about if buyers are in strong control since the New York Open. And I have to mention as well, if it's looking good and buyers are in control on the Dow, YM, which they were, and also on ES, on the S&P, which they were as well. So there's lots of confluences there for me to go, yeah, I'm going to front run this. I'm going to get in before the initial balance is formed. Okay, so that's another trade there, which I took. Now, I want to go over this losing trade here because losing trades are going to happen. They are part of the probabilities. You are going to take them. And, this is something I am looking to get even better at these days, just accepting that loss. And this trade was actually a perfect example of how I'm getting much better already accepting these losses. It's a good start to doing this. If we look here, this was my entry on the NQ. We had the initial balance high form first. So we are more likely to break the initial balance low first. Once again, I'm front running this, okay? In hindsight, it's a little bit choppy. So in my journal, in my notes, I did say that possibly I could have waited for the initial balance to fully form first on this day before getting in. But I stayed loyal to my rules. I entered, and we can see here absolutely smash. We basically entered on this 50% retracement when it came here, but it smashed through that in stop loss in drawdown immediately and losing money quickly. So this is where I have to look and go, Am I going to really take the full stop loss? Do I need to take the full loss here? I am very wrong because it's gone through my entry here. And it's one of those where I'm looking to get better at exiting earlier, which I did. I got out on this candle here, and you can see here that it would have smashed through my stop loss and it would have kept going. Now with this candle, although this candle went through the stop loss, I exited around about here. You can see the price here, 25,759, which is 27.59. So it's around about here, isn't it? Okay, so, I got out well before the stop loss there, taking a smaller loss because I'm losing. And you have to sometimes accept it, take the smaller loss, which I did on this day, and I walked away. That was a big win for me, not looking for more trades, accepting the loss, accepting as part of the probabilities, and walking away. One more trade I want to go over in this year so far is this one right here. Now, this was the latest one that I've taken. And if we look at this one here, this is an example trade here where, okay, the initial balance high has formed first, but instead of like the last trade where it's a bit choppy, you can clearly see this one is showing sellers fully in control. Not only were sellers fully in control, but we can see here on YM that sellers in control as well. We can see here on ES, sellers in control as well. So it's looking good for the sellers, and I'm only really looking short here. That's why I didn't wait for a retracement to the 50% retracement level and instead took it at the 25% retracement level, having a limit order here, getting entered on this candle, very little drawdown here, and then moving quickly to the initial balance low, taking out there to form a new initial balance low. So yes, I'm front running this again, but it's because there's lots of sellers in control since the open. And as I mentioned here, the stocks were sliding lower on the Mag 7, which makes such a big part of NQ. So, same as the other trades from before, initial balance high forming first, we're more likely to break the initial balance low first. And indeed we did with this quick candle here to the downside, trailing the stop very, very aggressively. Trump was actually speaking at this time as well. And as a result, I just wanted to get out of this really, really quickly. So trailed the stop aggressively, got a nice base hit for the day to end the week green, to end the month so far green. And I said to you I was going to share with you one small thing that's made a massive difference to my year so far and has allowed me to have the consistency and discipline that I've had so far. And if we look here at the amount of trades, right, 28 trades, 10 trades, that's because these are copy traded, right? And I don't know why they show different trades on the different days, but basically all the trades I showed you across those days, there was only one trade on each day. That's the rule I've set myself for this month at least, having only one trade a day. If I win, I walk away. I get off the desk nice and quickly. If I lose, fine. It's part of my probabilities. I get off the desk quickly. And it's just made me super consistent and disciplined because I know what my rules are. It's up to me to stay loyal to those rules, to stay disciplined to those, which I have done in 2026 so far. And it's made a massive difference. So I hope you found this video interesting. I'm going to make some more videos during the year on the initial balance and some more trades that I'm going to take this year using the initial balance on NQ. But let me know what you thought, if you found any value from this video in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care.